Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Laureen HD. Many of you have asked me whether I thought dating apps were a viable options for us herpes positives, and if so, how to disclose to Match that you had herpes and when, etc, etc. So I thought I was going to do a little experiment around it and report back on my experience. So the way I went about it was I created a profile on Tinder, uploading a few cute pictures and putting in my bio pretty straightforwardly that I had herpes, and then just used it for about a month. So in my head there were three main questions or concerns that were intimidating herpes positives when it came to online dating or dating apps. The first one being, am I even gonna match with anyone? Like, is anyone going to swipe right knowing that I have herpes? The second one is, how are people gonna welcome or approach this conversation? Like, am I gonna be called a slut? Am I gonna be shamed? Am I, whatever? And then the third one is it going to be a deal breaker? So I haven't counted how many swipe right I did, but over the course of a month, I matched with 35 guys between the ages of 22 to 45, which is already something, because most of us come in this experience of online dating with this mindset of like, oh, if anyone knew of my condition before they knew me, no matter what I look like, no matter how fun my description is, no matter how great of a person I am, they would never be interested in pushing things further or even just connecting with me. And these matches are basically the proof that this is wrong. And now I know what you guys are gonna say. You're gonna be like, oh, but what if these guys swipe right because of the pictures and they didn't even pay attention to your bio, which is a super fair point, which is why I didn't stop just at matches, but actually engaged in conversation with some of these guys. So leading to our next question, how you guys approach or welcome a conversation around it. So bear with me and the quick math journey that I'm gonna take you on for a second. In 13 of those 35 matches, neither I or the matches started a conversation with each other. So that leaves us with 22 matches. Now in those 22 matches, 14 guys initiated the conversation with me, and I have initiated the conversation with 8 of them, amongst which half didn't respond. So now, amongst those 18 conversations left, I brought up my diagnosis in 11 of them, mainly through making sure that they had read my bio, saying things like, hey, you seem really nice, I just want to make sure that you read my bio before we keep talking. And I must say, the experience was actually pretty positive. So if you're considering adopting a similar upfront approach, you may hear things like how brave it is to disclose upfront and how much respect you should get for it. Also, how open they were to learn about it, not necessarily asking questions, but when I asked them, is it okay if I share a few stats or a few facts with you, they were really welcoming those education points. And the last thing you might hear is that you're not the first person they encounter with herpes. In fact, amongst those 11 conversations I started, one of them had an experience with a herpes positive before, and another one had herpes himself, which is never something that we think might happen. We think, in order to find herpes positives, we need to use herpes positive dedicated platforms. But, whether people are upfront about it or not, they can very much be like pretty much anywhere. So those things were super refreshing and super positive to hear. But you may also hear things like, some guys think they're immune to it. Obviously there's no such a thing. The only reason or the only way you would be immune to it is by having it, and I don't think that's what they meant. They will ask you how it happened and sort of project that you did something wrong to get it. Some guys will think that it's a pickup line or it's a joke in order to start a conversation, and they will use it as a line opener and just ghost. And then other guys might obviously turn you down. This happened in one of the 11 conversations I had, and he did it super respectfully and very, very nicely. There was, really no harm done. And for our last question, is disclosing that you have herpes on online dating apps a deal breaker? Now, I didn't go on any dates past those matches and conversations, and I couldn't tell you how many of those conversations could have led to actual dates and how many actual dates could have turned into intimate situations. But I was super happy to witness that disclosing that you have herpes in a way or another is not a deal breaker. I knew that disclosing your herpes status was not necessarily a deal breaker, most of all after, you know, you've been on a few dates with someone, etc. But super genuinely, super honestly, I went into this project kind of thinking that it might be a shit show, like expecting it to be a shit show. And when it turned out not to be, I was surprised. And I hate that I was surprised. You know why? Because on platforms where connecting with people can be so transactional, I thought, well, of course, herpes is going to be this, you know, cog blocker of transactions. And the reason why I thought that is because of the perverted nature of the stigma that comes to life not only in herpes negative people, but also through herpes positive people. So you basically now have two approaches. One that I discussed in a video last year, where you would disclose your herpes status after having been on a few dates with a potential partner, and you would disclose it face to face after they have gotten to know you and your personality. Or this approach where they don't know anything about you, and the first thing that they know about you is your herpes diagnosis, and let, you know, skim people that are not okay with it and invest your time establishing or deepening relationship with people whom you know are not turned off by it. Now, I'm not saying that disclosing digitally that you have herpes is better than disclosing in real life. I'll let you make the call of what works best for you. And I'm also not saying that this is the absolute proof that you will not get rejected, that you will not have negative experiences on dating apps. Like, obviously this is a very small sample and it's probably not representative of everybody's experience with disclosing that they have herpes on dating apps. What I am saying is you can be herpes positive and you can use dating apps, and you can be honest and responsible about your status and disclose it to matches, and still meet people who will respect you for being respectful and are still very much interested in getting to know you. If you think this video was helpful, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have a relevant story to this video or maybe tips on how to use dating apps when you have herpes, please leave them in the comments below. If you have private questions, private struggles that you would like to share with me privately, you can go on the holler section of my blog, also linked below. I may take a little time to respond because I'm receiving more and more notes from you guys, but 90% of the cases I do get back to my viewers. That's it. End of rambling, end of video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.